Okay, let's talk about the cloud. I mean, we all basically live there now, right? Our photos, our work documents, pretty much our entire digital lives are floating around on servers we'll never, ever see. And as this invisible world has gotten bigger and bigger, it's created this equally huge problem of trust. How do you possibly secure something you can't even touch?
To really get a sense of the stakes, you have to understand the scale we're talking about. The global cloud computing market, it's on track to blow past $1 trillion. And look, that's not just some big, flashy number. That number represents the engine that powers our entire modern world, everything from your Netflix queue to really critical government systems.
And here's the wild part. This isn't some new revelation. Even way back in the mid-2010s, experts were looking at charts just like these, seeing this exact same explosive growth coming. They saw a future totally reliant on the cloud. And you know what? They absolutely nailed it. This isn't some trend on the horizon. It's the world we are living in right now.
But with all that incredible growth, there's always a catch. This chart here shows what's keeping people who use the cloud up at night. You see things you'd expect, like performance and availability, but just look at that first bar. I mean, it is just towering over everything else. Nearly 88% of people point to security as a major issue. It is the single biggest roadblock we have.
And this gets to the fundamental trade-off we've all made, probably without even thinking about it. We've jumped headfirst into the cloud for all its benefits. It's cheaper, it's more convenient, it's scalable. But in doing that, we've handed over direct control of our most valuable asset, our data. And that creates this huge trust gap between us and the companies we're counting on.
So what do these security threats actually look like? Well, you can kind of sort them into two big buckets. On one side, you have amplified problems. Think of your classic IT security issues, but now they're on steroids just because of the massive scale of the cloud. And then you have the brand new headaches, the cloud-specific problems, that literally couldn't have existed before this technology.
And listen, these are not just some theoretical risks. We have some chilling real-world examples of just how bad it can get. A company, a hosting provider called CodeSpaces, was literally put out of business forever after a DDoS attack. We saw Apple's iCloud get hit, letting attackers just steal people's logins. And get this, in one crazy sophisticated attack, hackers hijacked Windows Update using the Amazon cloud, and it only cost them 65 cents to pull it off. The stakes could not be higher. Okay, so if we can't see the servers and the threats are that serious, how on earth do we build trust? How can we ever really know our data is safe? Well, the answer really boils down to two key ideas. We need a detective and we need a rulebook. First up, we've got auditing. That's our detective. This is the process of actively getting in there and investigating what's happening inside the cloud, hunting for threats and making sure the cloud provider is actually doing what they promised. And to guide that detective, we have compliance. That's our rulebook. This is the set of standards, laws, and best practices that everybody has to play by. Let's look a little closer at our detective. See, a traditional audit was kind of like taking a single photograph of a system, a snapshot in time. That just doesn't work for the cloud, which is changing every single second. So cloud auditing can't be a snapshot. It has to be like a continuous, 24/7 live video feed, always watching for threats as they emerge. And now for our rulebook. Cloud compliance is all about making sure that every provider follows the same set of rules. Think about it. Data in the cloud can cross international borders in the blink of an eye. So these standards are absolutely essential for making sure our information is handled legally and securely, no matter where in the world it happens to be. Of course, creating a universal rulebook and a trustworthy detective agency, that's not a job for one country or one company. No way. It's a massive, ongoing, global effort with experts from all over the world chipping in. And this just gives you a little taste of that teamwork. You've got organizations from the United States like NIST and FedRAMP. You've got European groups like ETSI. And then you have truly international bodies like the ISO. They're all working together to build this foundation of standards that lets us trust the cloud no matter where we are. But it is not simple. One of the biggest, thorniest challenges is this thing called data sovereignty. Basically, it means the laws that protect your data in your home country might be totally different, or might not even exist, in the country where your data is physically sitting on a server. This actually led to a huge case where the US government tried to get Microsoft to hand over data stored on servers in Ireland. It was a massive international legal fight. So what's the end goal of all this complicated work? The auditing, the compliance, the global standards? What's it all for? Well, as Jim Ravis, the CEO of the Cloud Security Alliance, puts it, the goal is transparency. It's all about giving us, the people actually using the cloud, the information we need to make smart, safe decisions about who we trust.
But even with all this incredible progress, let's be really clear about something. The battle to secure the cloud and build real, lasting trust, it is far from over. This is not a solved problem, not by a long shot.
There are still some huge hurdles we have to get over. For instance, how do you detect a malicious employee who already has the keys to the kingdom? How can you be 100% sure that when you delete your data, it's really truly gone forever? How can you prove exactly where your data is sitting to comply with all those different laws? These are the big, tough questions that researchers are working on right now. You know, all these technical problems and legal debates, they all come down to one very simple and very personal question. Your entire digital life exists in the cloud, but do you actually know where it sleeps at night?